Hey YouTube, welcome back to another episode of War of the Visions. So today's episode, I really want to emphasize a topic of conversations that perhaps are on people's minds, but it's not being brought to the forefront because, well, this game is not at that point. And you may be wondering, what exactly am I talking about? So for today's Friday Free Thinking, I want to discuss esports and War of the Visions. I originally wanted to make this video into sort of a history on the background of esports, but I felt like that perhaps may be a little bit too much and perhaps a little bit overwhelming. So I'm going to kind of make a short, condensed version. Surprisingly, esports actually began in 1972, and the title that attracted over 10,000 participants in the tournament was actually Space Invaders. Now, Space Invaders is probably considered one of the cult classics of video games, and you can actually argue and say, besides Pong, that could be the one game that has defined video games in human history. Fast forward to roughly about 1998, StarCraft came around and it began to host many online championships which attracted over 50 million viewers, most of which came from Twitch. And yes, Twitch has been that old. Now here's the thing. Esports has really successfully gained momentum right around the 2000s, really attracting players such as Steph Curry from the NBA, Rick Fox from the NBA, among other players and other professionals and of course rich people to start investing in the, well, sport, right? Much like the NBA, NFL. Now players participating in esports are actually getting contracts, they're getting salaries, and people are getting traded, people are getting cut. There's names and teams of cities and even countries being represented in esports today. Personally, I actually participated and actually had some motivation to be a professional gamer myself, long before I started doing YouTube videos. Right around the late 1990s, early 2000s, I participated in events such as Street Fighter, Tekken, and Marvel vs. Capcom 2 tournaments on the local scene. And in fact, I actually fought several professional players. Obviously, I don't remember them anymore because I'm pretty sure they're too old to be participating in esports. Other games such as Halo really brought people into the forefront. Now, big titles, humongous titles that have attracted millions upon millions of players other than StarCraft include things like Madden football and perhaps other sorts of sports games. So what does this all mean for War of the Visions? Well, it can mean a few things, right? The biggest thing is we do have match play now. So match play, and now we're given class match in which we are pitted against another player in real-time combat. Some other games that I've played in the past, and of course this is just anecdotal evidence because I don't have a lot of experience playing these type of games in which I can do live action PvP. But of those two that I have participated, one is Summoners Wars, and of course Epic 7, which I'm playing now. Now, by the way, I have not really got super deep into Epic 7. Essentially every day I'll log in, do my dailies, and perhaps, try to play a little bit of events here and there. I don't actually play any of those live PvP, but in Summoners Wars I actually did participate in live PvP. I did not mind the format that it created. Subsequently, after the insertion of live PvP in Summoners Wars, they created essentially esport for Summoners Wars, in which some of the best players in the world in terms of PvP are pitted against each other in an actual live event in which the winners were able to take home massive amounts of cash. And ultimately, that's what esports is. Essentially pitting against the best players of each game and of course giving them large amount of prizes and ultimately recognition. Now, I personally know a lot of folks in this game are creating little mini tournaments in which they're pitting many of the players who they think are good players in this game, fighting each other in perhaps just match play. Now, I'm obviously not sure if there's money involved and things like that. Personally, I don't want to reveal details of that things because, well, it could be against terms of service if the companies find out. So for me, I don't want to bother naming names or discussing further of those situations. But if you were to create friendly competitions with each other in little mini tournaments and there's no prizes involved other than bragging rights, obviously that's most likely not against terms of service. And I strongly encourage people to do those type of things because ultimately we need to create fun out of a game that's supposed to be, well, fun. One of the most important things about esports and World Visions is that perhaps in 2022 we might be jumping into that. There are plenty of whales, krakens, even Poseidons are definitely willing to represent themselves, their guilds, in terms of really just taking on each other and laying down on each other. The thing is though, can we really take esports with World Visions to the next level? And my personal feeling is absolutely. Because the game in terms of a strategy RPG is perfect. If you enjoyed watching the movie Barbara Fisher in chess, or the most recent show on Netflix in which there's a young lady who decided that she would take on all the grand champions of chess, a little bit of drama inserted here and there, I think is a great viewership, really, if you're watching other people playing with some of your favorite units such as Orlando, such as Yuna, such as any other characters, maybe Sephiroth, Cloud in the future, and fighting each other in a grand arena type of thing. Ultimately, if you think about it, esports can even be traced all the way back to the roots of the gladiator days. Essentially, our fights in terms of dueling is called arena. Most gacha games in the current market can be seriously catered to the actual design of arena combat. So why not sit back and watch a lot of these stories unfold on the giant screen inside of an actual arena, much like folks did back in the days in Greece, of course, in Rome and things like that. I think ultimately speaking though, most of us are probably not going to think about participating in these ultra crazy competitive events because ultimately gacha games are catered to heavy spenders. And I'm okay with that because I personally like to watch these type of scenarios or slash dramas unfold because ultimately you're going to find someone to cheer for. And ultimately, if you cannot participate, why not funnel your energy through one of your favorite players or perhaps multiple characters? I think that's all the time I have for this video. I think I always find Friday Free Thinking very engaging and very stimulating. If you feel the same way, please leave in a comment section below what do you think about esports and perhaps World Divisions. And of course, if you have not done so, please hit the subscribe button. We are fastly approaching 1,000, and the faster we get there, the faster I have access to some of the functions YouTube has to offer. Until next time, take care of yourself and all your loved ones. Nashtaters and his family out of here. Have a great weekend. Peace.